Hello everyone, I'm Sophie and I'm currently at Kechara Forest Retreat, Bentong, Malaysia. And today I'll be sharing from Rinpoche's blog the transcripts from his live talks given, live teachings. So as usual, before that, I will go to a picture to share with you. Today is a very interesting topic. See the picture. And the topic is you don't own your body. Okay, so JJ is a part of you as much as you are a part of you. And that is false because you are not a part of you as much as JJ is not a part of you. Because JJ's body and your body are both borrowed. They both don't belong to you. Both the bodies do not belong to you. You are a temporary resident of that room. So, if you are a temporary resident of that room, why would you put so much energy into something that doesn't belong to you? And you won't be able to keep because, in the end, it will just be discarded. So, if it doesn't belong to you, why would you put so much energy towards it? And now you are getting this information on an intellectual level. If you think about it and meditate every day, you will disassociate. And when you disassociate, you will not abandon your body. You will not let it go. You will not neglect it. In fact, you will care for it more. Why? Because you realize that it is not something you own. It's a vehicle you can use to do better with. In fact, your body becomes a vehicle, not a property. So when you meditate on this correctly, and well, what happens? Your body becomes a vehicle, not a property. Instead of to own a car, you just ride a bus. You don't have to take care of the bus. Someone else will. So when we keep thinking, this is my body, I have to pleasure it, I am stuck, I'm claustrophobic, I don't want to do this, I want to do that, I'm not happy, you said this to me, you did that to me, and you always think like that. You start implanting in your mind ownership of something you don't own. And all the problems arise from that. You start creating ownership of something you don't own. If you own your body as much as you own the person next to you, if you look at it on an ultimate sense, it makes sense. So, if you don't own your body, the body next to you, left and right, in front of you and behind you, that's why you are not so concerned about the next person. You also don't own your body. You have zero control of your body. Zero. Anytime your body can shut down on you and you're gone. Anytime. We may think, oh, but I'm young. I'm only 31, 32. No. Look at Justin. In front of our eyes, a very beautiful person had to leave, had to pass away. No signs a week ago before his passing. No signs a month ago. No signs a year ago. No signs a day ago. No signs even 1 hour ago. No signs even 1 minute before. It wasn't like he was crawling and then he collapsed. He just collapsed. And when within 2 hours our Dharma brother passed away in front of our eyes, which he proved to us that he did not own his body. And what happened to our Dharma brother will happen to all of us in one way or another. So, if you don't own the bodies next to you, and therefore you don't have that much ownership or responsibility for, or attachment, or you won't work as hard for it, you should apply the same principles to yourself, that you also don't own your own body. And if you keep thinking, and if we keep thinking we own our own body, if we keep thinking that, all of our sufferings, all of our disillusion, all of our anger, all of our self-attachment, self-fears, insecurities, will keep coming up more and more and more. And you know what's horrible? The insecurities, the fears, the attachments will increase with age. And even worse, with age, you can't fulfill all of your attachments. If you want to smoke 50 packs a day, you can't anymore because you're going to wheeze. It's not like when you're 20. If you want to go out and you want to have a relationship with every pretty girl, you can't. Your body can't take it anymore. If you want to go to disco all night and take drugs all night, you can't. You can't even stay awake past 12 anymore. If you want to go clubbing anymore, they will say, "Hey, Grandpa, what are you doing here? Time to go home. Take a Geritol and go to sleep." So even if, and the sad thing is, as you get older, the attachment gets stronger. They don't get less. Do you know why? If you can't break your habit of 1 year or 2 years, how can you break your habit of 30 years, 40 years? And in fact, our habituations, when we are older, we keep doing it, is what creates trouble in the family, in ourselves, and in the people around us. So, when we think about it very carefully, all this arises from holding the I, nga, very strongly. Me, I, that doesn't exist. And when we realize the I that's associated with this body doesn't exist, you know what happens? We start disassociating. Does it makes us cold? No. In the interim, in between Bado, in the interim, it makes us a little standoffish, a little confused, because we are trying to find our way. Because our whole life we have been trying to hold on to this body. Suddenly we realize it doesn't belong to us. I give you an example that is a little crude, but it's close. Suddenly you find out that you're 20, you are adopted. Oh my God, you mean you're not my parents? You mean you're not my cousin? You are not my mother? You're not my sister? You're not my aunt? And everybody suddenly immediately looks like strangers, outsiders, something not connected to you anymore. Suddenly you find out you're adopted. Everything you believed is gone. Similarly, you will have period off and interim period off. You don't know what's going on. Confusion, little standoffish, maybe some tears, maybe a little bit of movement. But then you will come to terms and say, wait a minute, how many years have I wasted with this body? And in the end, it's exactly like the body next to me that I don't own. So what happens is that your body doesn't become a property, it becomes a vehicle. What's the difference when you view your body as a vehicle? Then you use it for the greater good of others. What's the difference when you see your body as a property? Then you keep self-indulging. See the difference? If we keep our body and keep thinking that it is property, we will continue to self-indulge until we cannot, until we get bored, until we become lonely, or until we self-indulge so much that we sacrifice everything that had meaning for self-indulgence to the point of it has no more meaning anymore. There are people who sacrifice things with meaning for self-indulgence until the self-indulgence itself becomes a bore. And then loneliness, bitterness, unhappiness settles in. Why does it settle in? Because it is a natural way for a cognizing mind, a perceiving intelligent mind to say, what was that all about? And when the mind finds out what we have been doing has no meaning, of course you feel like you've wasted your time. If you spend millions and millions of dollars on something and no one uses it and there is no use, what will you feel? You are going to feel you've wasted your money. Any normal people will feel and will say, oh, it's okay, the money will come. No problem, let's waste more. So, any self cognizing person with any sort of intelligence will feel whatever I have done with my body is such a waste, such a waste. And that's how we'll feel. So, when we think about it carefully, everything I'm telling you should not be used for criticism or pointing fingers or right or wrong, but it should be used as self discovery, truth. And with that, I will end the session for today. And as Rinpoche has pointed out, that this body is not ours to own. So don't get attached to it, because when we're attached to it, then a lot of our sufferings will arise, because then we will self-indulge, like especially for women, we all know we'll go for facial, we'll go for massages, everything, to make our body look good. So it's basically, when you think about it, it's quite a huge waste of time, especially for those who are like really really focused on their body. There's some people who would like spend so much time going to the hair salon to look good, and and putting on the makeup every day and all that. I mean, it's not that it's bad, it's just that we should we could indulge less and spend that time, on more meaningful things that we could do, like for example helping other people, or focus on your Dharma practice, things like that. So that is what I got from reading this first part. So, and I thank you for sharing your time with me. So join me for my next sharing, where I'll continue reading on what Rinpoche is sharing or teaching. So I will end this with a completion dedication in Tibetan. Jang Jum Sen Chon Rinpoche, Ma Ke Pa Nam Ke Yishi, Ke Pa Nam Pa Me Pa Yang, Go Ni Gon Du Pe Wa Sho, Do Ni Do Rinpoche, Ma Ke Pa Nam Ke Yishi, Ke Pa Nam Pa Me Pa Yang, Go Ni Gon Du Pe Wa Sho, Da So Ji Ni Sa Pa Ge Wa Di, Tan Dan Tro Wa Go Na Ka Pa Dan, Je Pa Je Su No San Tra Pa Yi, Tam Ping Yin Po Rin Tu Sa Se Sho, Ke Wa Kun Tu Yan Da La Ma Dan, Dra Mi Jo Ki Pa La Lo Jo Ji, Sa Dam Lang Yi Yot Te Ra Zo Ne, Do Ye Chang Yi Ngo Pa Ngo Tu So, Gewadi Yuda Damasang Yudrione, Drewa Chikia Malupa, De Salago Pashu, Choki Gaposungapa, Chosunampa Pewala, Gekisama Siwadan, Dunki Malu Sawasho, Dada Sangi Dusundan, Drewa Songi Latine, Gewa Losantrapai, Tampayu Riva, Gyushi, Ni Modeles and Dele, Ni Mengunyan Deleshi, Ni Sintatu Dele Pal, Kunchusungi Jingilo, Kunchusungi Ngodroso, Kunchusungi Trasi Show. Jesu lama kusen rap ting ching nam ka trini cho cho ke pada lo sam tempe dro me sap songi dro e mun sa ta to ni gu shi gang ri rao e ko e shin kam den ben na dewa ma lu gyo ne charen se wan ten sing get so yi sha pe shi de ba ru den gu shi hom tong pe ngo tru ma lu pa den de da la sao du so ko na nem pa long chot nam ke pa so shik shuk den sao. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you for my next session.